Hey there, good morning. Just waiting for Facebook Live to connect and then I will continue on my way with my chitter chatter. Hi everyone, good morning. I haven't been live in such a very long time. I moved and I had to go through a period of time where I didn't have my kids, which was super, super stressful to say the very least. And so I decided today was the day that I was just going to stop making excuses for not going live and just doing it. So hello, it's good to see you all. I am on Facebook and Instagram, so please excuse the back and forth eyeballs. But before we even get started, I just want you guys all just to take a moment to take a breath because sometimes we get so caught up with the momentum when we've been on social media and we're reading all of the bad news and we're reading everybody making their opinions and judgments in the comments and we catch on to that energetic momentum. So please just take a moment and take a deep breath. Move your neck around, loosen your shoulders, your jaw, massage it just a little bit, help loosen that up. Work out your forehead a little bit. Just take a nice deep breath, and as you let it go, let everything relax. It's all it's all going to work out in the end, even though it doesn't feel like it right now. So just let your body relax in this moment where you are well enough to be watching this video. So you are well enough to relax just a little bit. Move the hips just a little bit, maybe your ankles, which you can't see right now, and I'm not flexible enough to show you. Take another deep breath. Good. Hi guys, good to see you. Hi Amber, how are you? Hi Charles. Thank you guys all so much for being here this morning. Um, Even though you don't put titles on Instagram Lives, what I titled this on Facebook today is the new normal that isn't. I think we're coming to terms that we really are recognizing and what is going to be our new normal. We're all craving what was normal. We're wanting to get our kids back in school so they can feel normal, but the truth of the matter is more normal's what we're making it because the past is the past. What we knew is not what we're living in right now, and that's where your power is, and that recognition of you get to create how you are digesting the changes that have happened and how you're going to move forward and how you're going to vibrate that energy, how you're going to model those neurons to your family and the people around you, and ultimately feel better about the times that we are experiencing right now. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining. It's so good to see you all. I'm so excited that you're all here. I haven't been live in so long because I was dealing with my own muck and I just couldn't even wrap my head around being present for everybody. And so I took some time to just try to deal with my own muck. Anybody else feeling like they can't cope with anything else except for like this little world that's within their house? That's totally me right now. All right, so first I know I touched on it as we started the video, but I want to remind you all that you can impact your neurons. You can you can mirror and model neurons through social media. Um, and so when you've been scrolling through feeds and you're reading all the gloom and doom and you're getting involved with angry conversations on social media, that is impacting your mindset. It is impacting your neural pathways. And ultimately, when you step away from whatever experience that you've had, whether you're even conscious of it or not, whatever experience you've had on social media, when you step away from it, all of that has impacted your mind, your neurons, and your mindset, and your thoughts and your feelings, and then you're going to perpetuate that out into everybody that you have contact with. Most specifically, your children, your spouse, your partner. If you are a manager, you most definitely will unintentionally be spreading out that stressful energy to everyone. So I do think that social media definitely has a place. That's, obviously I'm on social media too, telling you not to be on social media, but this is where we are. I'm asking you to take really broad, sweeping breaks from social media. It doesn't have to be multiple days in a row, but, finding little pockets of time where you're just setting a timer, you're checking social media for 30 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever feels right for you, and then get off. Don't do the constant going back, checking the feed, checking the feed, checking the feed. Because what you're going to find is that you're building this momentum of fear and anxiety and bad news and arguments and angry people and hurt people. And it's just going to collect and ultimately end up making you feel like you don't have control over your life. And it's going to make you feel like caca. It's going to make you feel bad. I know I feel bad after I've been scrolling a feed for even just a couple minutes. So if you were on there for any longer than that, if you're engaging with disagreements or arguments on social media, it's going to impact your entire world. It's going to impact the experiences that you're having. It's going to impact everything. So use these really compassionate boundaries, not only with other people on social media, other people in your life, but with yourself. Mary Jo, you're always nail what I'm feeling. Well, I figure I'm human. You're all human. If I talk about what I'm feeling and the struggles I'm having, there's somebody else that's bound to be feeling the same way. Um, because it's just such a hard time right now. I've been having to wear these blue blockers a lot because my eyes are getting so tired. I don't know if it's age or just because I'm on computer so much. Um, Boundaries, I definitely need to hold them with social media. Yes, right? I will admit, I am not super great at my boundaries with social media. So the best boundary that I can have is just by not being on it. I will still create content and I will still be that creator on social media, but I haven't been consuming it as much because I just can't handle it. I haven't developed those boundaries well enough to be able to walk away and be like, whoa, that was heavy. How can I get rid of this? Sometimes I don't recognize right away how heavy it's made me feel. And so the best way that I can have that boundary with social media is by making sure that I'm not scrolling my feed if I'm doing, because I do social media marketing for small businesses also, in addition to all my mindset work. So I have to be really careful about how I am consuming social media and how that is impacting me, the messages I'm creating for my clients, the whole gambit. It impacts everything. So I wrote a whole bunch of notes because sometimes I go off on a tangent and I'm like squirrel. So I wrote notes so we can stay on track. Um, so we talked about social media, getting off of social media. It doesn't have to be completely, but making sure that you're not checking back on it every few minutes, every 30 minutes, because in that repetition is what carves new neural pathways. So if you're creating repetition in negative neural pathways, that's what you're going to carve. So be really, really cautious about your social media usage. I will remind you that right now, people who have unhealed mindsets, unhealed mental health issues, unhealed toxic patterns or prior abuse, all of these things are impacting them tenfold because they're scared. And so it triggers them. And so their behaviors can be really, really gross and hurtful right now. That's not a reflection on you and your opinions, it's a reflection on them, their internal pain, what they haven't dealt with in a healthy way, and how they need an outlet. And when you have unhealed junk and you're hurt, you hurt others. And so what you're placing a lot of on social media in the form of really negative behavior is these people with unhealed mindsets and trauma and pain and all of that. They're lashing out at others because they don't have the tools. They haven't learned the tools and they haven't healed to learn the tools to be able to cope in better ways. So please know that if somebody's being really hurtful, they're poking at you, they're doing things intentionally to harm you or to act against you, that is not you. It has nothing to do with you. That is all about them and their unhealed toxicity. Okay, you got this. Boundaries. Boundaries. It's totally okay to say, I disagree with your opinion of me. Because there's name calling. People are name calling. They're telling people that they're stupid. It's totally okay to say, I disagree with your opinion of me, or I'm okay with your opinion of me. You can also just ignore them. My favorite tactic for people who have toxic unhealed patterns. There's nothing that needs to be answered. Just ignore them. Engaging is what they want. So if you're going to engage and show them an emotional response, that's exactly what they want. And you don't need to play that game. All right, especially with a stranger. Especially with a stranger. Not with anybody really, but especially a stranger on social media. All right. Um, you're not going to change minds on social media. So even if there's somebody who's not toxic, but they have a very different opinion than yours, social media is not a place where you're going to change minds. This is a generality. Of course, there might be like that one person that reads your message and they're like, I hadn't thought of it that way. But generally, that is not what you're going to find on social media. We are all on social media, even me right now with my video, right here, right now. We are all on social media to have our opinions heard and to find a community of people that agree with our opinions. That is why we are on social media. We want to be validated and heard. So by trying to change somebody else's mind on their post that they've formed an opinion about and shared, you disagreeing in their comments, you, even if you respectfully and you're really kind about how you disagree, you're not going to change their mind. If anything, you're going to walk away feeling heated, frustrated, perturbed, perturbed. Um, you're not going to change minds on social media. So, keep posting if that's what resonates for you and that's what you feel like you need to do. But just know that it is only the people that already agree with you that are going to validate you on those posts, and you're actually not going to be changing people's minds. I know it sucks. Um, and that just remembering that your real power, yes, you can share information. Sharing information can really be helpful, especially for the people that already resonate with your messages. They're already validating your messages. Then continuing to share content that has been fact checked and has really great resources on it, so you know that it's not just somebody else's opinion that you're sharing, but it has been based off of research or studies. This is the type of information that when you're sharing it on your social media with people that are already validating your messages can be helpful for them. So, you know, you decide what social media gets to be for you. You get to block people, you get to unfollow people. Um, you can even unfriend people. I don't really do that, but you can totally unfriend people, and just recognize that social media is a place to find a village, which is really beautiful, right? But you're not going to change. You're not going to change minds in most cases. But where your real power is at home and in your heart. So how are you showing up for your family? How are you showing up for yourself? How are you creating calm in your life? What kind of neural pathways are you carving in your own mind so that you can bring your best, most calm, peaceful self, given the current circumstances, to the table? What are you doing within your own realm of power, which is at home and in your heart? What are you doing to be powerful? Because that power that you develop within, that power that you develop within your home, that's everything. It diminishes the impact other things have on you. It diminishes your fear. It diminishes your frustration. Energetically speaking, quantum physics, the law of attraction, like energy attracts like energy. When you are feeling empowered and confident, people aren't going to poke at you and try to pick fights with you. You are setting yourself up to have less negative engagement. So I encourage you to recognize where your power is, right here, right at home. Recognize where that power is, and then find the tools that are going to help you cope with everything else going outside of yourself, because you are so sure and so strong in the power that you've created at home and within yourself that nothing else matters. I mean, of course it matters, but that has less of an impact, and that you know that it's all going to work out because you've developed the skills and you've taken the steps and the precautions that are within your power to set yourself up for as close to success as we're going to find right now given the chaos in our world. um, there's also a lot of talk about and jokes, like the Saturday Night Live character where she's like, and it's like her reaction to like homeschooling and virtual learning and sending my kids to school. Like there's just nothing that feels good right now, right? Nothing feels good. Homeschooling options don't feel super great unless you've already been doing it and you're like, I got this. Help us, please, if you've been homeschooling already. We need you. Virtual learning is not super great. Our kids miss their old normal. There's no new normal. But kids, might be virtual schooling. That's not an option that feels great for most of us. Sending our kids to school might give us more time to work and to take care of the things that need to be taken care of. But there's going to be that underlying low grade fear of if your children are safe, if they've been exposed to something. I mean, there's just really no great option right now to help us feel good. And it's totally okay to acknowledge that you don't like any of the options. So I'm going to ask you to rewind and go back to that concept of what is in your control, right? You can boost your family's immune system. You can double down on the vitamin C and all the stuff to help boost your children's immune system. You can eat healthier. You can involve them with cooking so they learn how to eat healthier. Usually when you involve kids with eating, they're more likely to try new foods. So do that. Take that route. And just recognizing that the normal that we're all craving is just not there anymore. Like we just can't send them back to school and put them out into the world and expect that everything's just going to go back to normal, because it's not going to be normal. I know with my kids' school, their return to school plan is that Not only are kids wearing masks in the classroom, but they're going to be wearing them on the playground as well. There's going to be staggered start times. They're going to be in their little cohorts of learning pods. And and so there's going to be a huge adjustment for kids that are going back to school right now. Huge. Because in their mind, they're children. So they're thinking, oh, we're going back to school. School for most children is like one of the most grounding, um, familiar, rooted in familiar patterns and routine. It's one of the most grounding environments that they have in their life. And so they're going back to an environment that's been predictable for them for, in some cases, years and years and years. And it's going to be nothing like the school that they left last March, was it? It's going to be nothing like what they saw or what they left. So please, as you are getting your kids ready to start school in August, please recognize that regardless of what choice you've made, I'm not going to tell anybody that your choice is right or wrong, because at the end of the day, we love our kids and we're all doing the best that we can to make the right choices for them. But I am going to tell you, make sure you are preparing them and creating a really grounded environment and helping support their mental health with good gut health for this huge, huge transition that is about to happen when school starts. Um, I might argue it might even be less of a transition if you're going to continue virtual learning, because your kids know what that looks like now. What they don't know is what school is going to look like when they start. Yes, you can buy the fun masks and try to make it as enjoyable as possible, involve them in the process, but you really need to get grounded, and they need to know that you feel confident in your choice in whatever you've chosen for their school, so that they can feel good and safe in the choice that you've made for them. It's all about you. It's all about you and how confident you feel in your choice. Let's see. This has been one of the hardest concepts to talk with my 10-year-old about. She has an idea of what it will look like, and we are positive and honest with the coming change. Kids can handle really big concepts. You can talk to them really honestly in an age appropriate way, especially at 10 years old, but even younger kids. You can talk to them really honestly and just make sure that the language is age appropriate, and the way that you're talking about it is age appropriate. But I commend you. Like, the best thing that you can do is just be honest with what they're facing. Um, and sometimes as parents, we have so much wisdom because we've experienced so much, but sometimes where we fail our kids is not listening to them, right? So making sure, and not a judgment on you since you just put one little comment, but making sure that we are listening to what our kids might be saying about their fears. And instead of being like, oh, you don't need to be scared of that, be like, oh, wow, they just said they're scared of X, Y, and Z, right? Or um, maybe they're scared of not being with their best friend who they were in school with or something. Like really addressing that they've verbally told you a concern, and talking about that, them knowing that they've been heard in their concerns, and you giving them that eye contact and really talking about it with them, even if you don't have an answer, telling them, you know what, I don't know, but we're going to work through this together. We're going to figure this out together. Goes so far, because as these bigger and bigger concerns grow, especially as children grow older, they'll know that they can come to you and talk to you about this stuff, and that you will be calm and safe and help them work through it as a guide, instead of just their boss that's just telling them what they should and shouldn't think. So best thing we can do with our kids right now is be honest with them about what to expect, um, and listening. If they have fears and concerns, listening to those authentically, um, with a lot of focus, and really taking the time to flush out what might be going on in their internal dialogue. And remembering that if our children are really stressed out and they're feeling ungrounded and scared, you don't have to look any further than yourself. If you're feeling stressed out, ungrounded, and scared, you need to do the best that you can. Nobody's going to be perfect during this time, but do the best that you can to get that in check, so that your kids can feel safer and more grounded and regulated. Just do your best. I think it was my grandma or grandpa used to say, if you can't do your best, do your second best. Just do what you can, but do make intentional efforts toward it. Um, Relaxing into this portion of our parenting journey. When we became parents, we signed a soul contract, an energetic contract, a physical contract with our children, that we were going to look after them and protect them and make choices for them to keep them safe. Um, And so now is this time where whatever choices you make for children, you need to relax into that choice. And that might take giving yourself a lot of grace. Give yourself grace that you are making the best choices that you can right now, given the information that you have at hand, the choices that are being made available to you, and just recognizing that there are a lot of limitations for all of us right now, and you have to give yourself grace that you are doing the best that you can given the opportunities being presented to you. Um, and you just got to give yourself the grace to relax into that. Forgiving yourself, understanding your limitations are all going to help you relax into these really hard choices we're making for our kids. Let's see, what else did I write? Something that I recommend all the time if you don't follow the page is Hand in Hand Parenting. It was a really great resource for me when my kids were really small. And I still love recommending it because I think the information they provide has not only served me when my kids were really small, but continues to serve me as a parent as my children go older. My kids are now 8 and 11. So, Hand in Hand Parenting, my number one takeaway that I would love to see every parent on the planet do is one-on-one time with every child, even if it's just 15 minutes a week. Giving your child that one-on-one time with eye contact, no screens, no phones. That goes for you too, parents, especially for you. Giving your children time to know that they are the center of your attention, that they have this platform and time to be heard and make choices and do what they want. So go and check Hand in Hand Parenting and specifically their concept on that one-on-one time with your child. I know it can be really hard to carve out one-on-one time, but when one child gets that one-on-one time, the other child knows they're going to get that time too. It becomes less of a push and pull because everybody knows they're going to be heard. Everybody knows they're going to get that time. And it's ended up being a really beautiful gift in my parenting journey. Um, Making sure that you're listening, which we already talked on. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. And then your own self-care. Again, we already touched on this, but you need to be doing self-care so that the neurons that you're modeling to your children show that you are the master of your mindset, that you are calm and grounded, and that as an adult you have developed the tools to help you through really really super crazy times like the ones right now. So whatever you need to do, if you're not a meditator, then don't meditate. um, if you're willing to try it, great. Meditation has been amazing for me. I actually prefer guided meditations because I'm a Gemini, so I have like 800 conversations going on in my head at the same time at all times. I like to overthink all the things. So I love guided meditations because it helps me give a visual or a voice to focus on during the meditation. Binaural beats has been amazing for me in calming my mind. Exercise, trying to walk as often as I can for 3 miles. There's something about the 3 mile mark that pushes me from just getting a little bit of activity to like really feeling relaxed afterward. You find your method. Is it yoga? Is it just sitting in your car and listening to your favorite song? I mean, you know what's going to work well for you. So lean into that and take the time to do it. Even if it's with like, oh, my partner got home from work or my partner just logged off from work. I'm going to go out to my car now and sit out in the driveway in my car and listen to my favorite music for 10 minutes so that I can come in and know that I've regrounded myself and calmed myself and I can be present and focused for my kids as soon as like for the whole, the whole rest of the night. Sometimes like from 5 p.m. until 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever time your kids go to bed can seem like the longest part of the day, especially if you're tired. Okay, so I see lots of like, me too. I feel that. Yeah, right. Sometimes it can be so hard to turn your brain off. Um, and I think that is about all that I had for today. I just knew that I was way overdue on going live. As you guys know, here on my platform, I teach mindset, I teach anxiety support. I have a lot of resources that I've already recorded, they're already on my page. You don't need to buy my coaching to learn my tools and supports that I teach on the page. Everybody should have access to mental health support, to feeling good. And that's why I try to provide as much as I can for free on my platform. If you want to hire for me for coaching, like I won't be like, oh no, don't hire me, like totally hire me, right? But I want you to know that there are plenty of resources both here on the page, in videos, as well as in my Facebook group. Lots of free EFT tapping at my Facebook group. Take advantage of all of that free stuff if you just are not in a place to buy the coaching and mental health support right now, because mental health is something we should all have access to, and it's severely under served in the US. Um, let's see, times in my car is our best friend. My car is also my recording studio. That's where I sing all of my greatest hits. All right, y'all. I hope you're all doing well. Please feel free to comment on this video with anything that I didn't address. If you're lying in bed in the middle of the night and all of a sudden you've decided that there's something that's the core of what you're struggling with and you don't know how to face it, I encourage you to comment publicly on my page because you never know what you're struggling with might help somebody else who doesn't have the same conviction to post things publicly on social media. However, if it feels too private, feel free to do it in the Facebook group, which is much smaller, also helpful for other people, or reaching out to me privately. But I really, really encourage you to comment publicly so it can help more people. All right. Sending you all so much light, love, abundance, and peace and ease, and everything always works out. The universe is only love. So if we are really hurting right now, it's because incredible lessons and changes are coming to us that are going to serve us for the better on the other side of this. So you can trust that. It's okay to feel hurt, but you can trust that something beautiful is coming out of the other side of this. And my bags don't lie. I'm feeling the strain too, but I trust that there's something amazing coming out of the other side of this. All right. Have a wonderful Monday, you as well. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for being here. Bye.